So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Changli, who is the latest 5-star character released into the game this week, and basically everything about her kit and my thoughts on whether or not you should pull on her. Before starting today's video, I just want to let you guys know that by the time this video is out, I should already be back from Japan and I will be pulling for Changli, and make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss that video. But that's that, and let's get straight into today's video. Okay, so first of all, let me go over her kit so that we have an idea of what sort of role she plays in general. So Changli is a fusion character which I'd say is best played as a sub DPS, and you'll see why after I explain everything about her kit. First of all, her basic attack deals up to 4 instances of fusion damage, with the last hit giving Changli an effect called True Sight, which lasts for 12 seconds regardless of the way that it's obtained, and I'll talk about it in detail later. Changli can also perform mid-air attacks which consume stamina, and after doing the 4th attack she will also receive True Sight as well. In addition to having a normal heavy attack, she also has a mid-air version of it, and both types of heavy attack consume stamina. The only difference is that within a certain amount of time of using her normal heavy attack, she can launch her 3rd hit of the mid-air attack immediately after that, and for the mid-air heavy attack she will launch the 3rd hit of her normal heavy attack instead. In short, you'll do the opposite type of the heavy attack that you use, and you can choose whether you want to follow through with the original type of the heavy attack that you're using, or if you want to switch over to the other type. One thing that I should mention about this is that both types of heavy attack don't give you True Sight, and if Changli has the True Sight effect when using either her normal attack or mid-air normal attack, then 2 different things can happen. So if you use her normal attack on the ground when having True Sight, then it gets enhanced, turning into True Sight Conquest, which deals fusion damage that is considered as resonant skill damage, and after that you'll also gain 1 stack of her 4th circuit on hit, and after launching the enhanced normal attack, the True Sight effect is lost. If you're using Changli's mid-air attack while having True Sight, then it becomes True Sight Charge, which also deals fusion damage that is considered as resonant skill damage, and also giving Changli a stack of her 4th circuits on hit as well. And of course, you lose the True Sight effect. And I'll just get it out of the way here, her dodge counter is nothing special, so I won't go into detail. And then we have her resonant skill, which is where the True Sight effect comes into play. If Changli doesn't have the True Sight effect when launching her resonant skill, then she will deal an instance of fusion damage and gain the True Sight effect. Changli's resonant skill has a cooldown of 12 seconds, and you can have 2 uses of it stored at once. And basically, Changli's resonant skill is just another way for you to gain True Sight. You don't need to go through her full normal attack rotation, and it overall just makes Changli's attack rotation more smooth. As for her resonance liberation, it deals a big instance of fusion damage, and you also gain 4 stacks of her 4th circuit on hit. And as for what her 4th circuit does, besides changing her appearance depending on the number of stacks that is currently in possession, when it's full at 4 stacks, Changli can use her heavy attack, which becomes enhanced as well, and all 4 stacks are consumed, dealing fusion damage that is considered as resonant skill damage. You can see how the number of stacks affect her appearance on the screen right now, and you'll also notice that somehow she loses her coat or jacket as the number of stacks increase, and I guess this is quite cool. One really nice thing about her kit in my opinion is her intro skill. On top of dealing damage like every other character's intro skill, for Changli she straight up gets the True Sight effect, which enables her 1st basic or mid-air attack to be enhanced, and as for her outro skill, this is the main reason why I think she's a sub DPS. It increases the fusion damage and resonance liberation damage of the next character, much like Lin. Last but not least, Changli also has these 2 inherent skills which increase her damage output, and I'll let you guys read it as it's on the screen. Moving on to the weapon and echoes that you should use on Changli, of course her signature weapon is going to be her best in slot. This weapon gives her crit damage as the main stat, and also a bit of crit rate as its passive effect. On top of that, you also gain a stack called Searing Feather, which increases resonance skill damage. 1 stack of Searing Feather can be obtained dealing any type of damage, and for resonance skill damage you gain 5 stacks at once, with the maximum amount of stacks being 14. At Ascension 1, each stack of Searing Feather increases resonance skill damage by 4%, meaning that it can get up to a 56% increase. To be honest, with how the weapon banner works in Wuthering waves, because of how you're guaranteed to get the on banner 5-star weapon, I'd recommend you to also get her signature weapon if you have enough asteroids to do so. But of course, not everyone will be able to do that, like me, but don't worry because you can always use Commando of Conviction on her, as this weapon is basically the best 4-star sword in the game currently for any sub DPS or main DPS character. And if you've chosen Emerald of Genesis as your free 5-star weapon, which you get when reaching Union level 45, then you can also use that on Changli too, as it's just a great stat sticks in general. As for which echoes and which set you should use on Changli, go for 43311, there's no reason why you should use any other configuration. In the Molten Rift set of course, and for the main stats, you would want either crit damage or crit rate for the 4 cost echo, either 2 fusion damage bonus or 1 fusion damage bonus and 1 attack percent, or 1 energy regeneration for the 2 free cost echoes, and 2 attack percent for the 2 1 cost echoes. Hopefully you caught on to everything that I just set, but of course this would depend on the substats that you get on each echo. For example, if you have a lot of attack percent as your substats, then of course it would make sense and it would be best for you to run 2 fusion damage bonus main stat free cost echoes instead of 1 fusion damage bonus and 1 attack percent. For the substats, as usual, you would want to have crit damage, crit rate, attack percent, energy regen. Basically choose the substats that would benefit a DPS character. Now for the last section of today's video, Changli's team comps and how you should play her. I've mentioned this already throughout the video, but the reason why I think she's a sub DPS character is that Changli has the same problem with Yinlin, where her main damage output comes from one specific part of her kit. For Yinlin, it's her punishing marks that deal coordinate electro damage as her skill is used, and for Changli, it's her resonance liberation, which has a damage multiplier similar to that of the Havoc Rover. Before you go typing in the comments again that other parts of Changli's kit can also deal massive numbers of damage. Yes, that is true, but you also can't ignore the difference in damage that is dealt by Changli using her normal attacks and then using her Fort Circus heavy attack and just using her resonance liberation. The point I'm trying to highlight is that after using Changli's resonance liberation, her damage output decreases to the point where you would be dealing more damage by switching to a main DPS character during this downtime that is created and continue dealing damage this way instead of staying on Changli and waiting for enough energy to use her resonance liberation again. With this explained, hopefully you understand why you should put Changli in a team where there is another main DPS character. And looking at her outro skill, like what I said in the previous part of this video, pairing her up with Encore is probably the best thing that you can do because of how she also has a downtime after her resonance liberation damage enhancing effect runs out. And so a great team that maximizes Changli's potential would be something like Encore, Changli, and then Farina if you have her, but in any case, Baiji can also work as well. But either way, as for Changli's optimal rotation, first of all, you would normal attack for 1 full rotation so that you have 1 stack over Fort Circuit. It doesn't matter if it's mid-air or on the ground. Launch the True Sight attack and then use your skill once and launch your True Sight attack again to have 2 stacks in total. You will want to repeat this part of the rotation once more until you have gained all 4 stacks over Fort Circuit. After that, use Changli's heavy attack as the Fort Circuit is full and immediately use her Resonance Liberation, which will give Changli another 4 stacks over Fort Circuit. Use her heavy attack again because of how her stacks are full, and that's basically Changli's attack rotation. If you're swapping into Changli, then you would already have the True Sight effect to begin with, and so you can take out one of the normal attack rotations. But of course, you would need a high enough amount of energy regen to make sure that by the time you use her heavy attack, you would have enough energy to use Changli's Resonance Liberation. If you can do a rotation that is something close to that, then you'll be dealing the maximum amount of damage with Changli. One thing that I want to just add in is that the order in which you use her normal attack and her skill doesn't really matter. As long as you end up with 4 full stacks, you're fine. I just personally find it satisfying to launch attacks up in the air and then plunge enemies to the ground when I play Changli, but it's really up to you to decide which way of playing Changli you like the most. Also, one tip that I want to give you guys is that make sure you continue normal attacking until you have gained the True Sight effect, and follow through until you have gained 1 stack over Fort Circuit. I've noticed that sometimes when I'm focused on delivering the full rotation, I might occasionally stop normal attacking early, and as a result, I don't gain the 1 stack of Changli's Fort Circuit that I'm supposed to. Maybe this is just a skill issue on my part for playing on the Europe server even though I'm in Hong Kong right now, but I just feel like telling you guys about this small thing about Changli's rotation. In conclusion, if you were wondering whether you should pull for Changli or not, especially since many people that I know decide to pull for Jinshi instead, I think Changli will stay as a strong sub DPS that will continue to be relevant in the meta for the foreseeable future, as the fusion damage buff that comes from her outro skill is unique to her as of this version of the game. Yes, it's possible that power creep might happen, but come on, there's absolutely no way you're telling me that you're going to skip after looking at this. But jokes aside, do whatever you want with your ash rights, you're the one in charge, and make sure you're spending them in a way that you enjoy the game and not regret your decision. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe if you're new. That's it for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!